million pounds, and they're different. They range differently from everyone, but and from country to country. To be fair, different countries have different tax laws, so different vehicles. But from your point of view, at the sort of normal end, I'm not going to call it the low end because I'm in that boat as well. It's as tax efficient as you can get it. That's where you start. You use all the tax efficiencies and then you step up into different things.
Welcome back to the show. It is your girl Sarah. It is your girl Sarah and Hiba right here on Relax Radio on the Sunrise. I'm so used to saying it is your girl Sarah that when I try to say Sarah and Hiba, my brain just automatically goes like no, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're here on the Sunrise and we're going to be having very important discussions with regard to university, A-level results. What are your thoughts on it? Share with us because we would love to hear it as well. And we've all been there at that stage where we get our A-level results and it's not what we expected sometimes, and it's not the most it doesn't really fill you with joy, but also it doesn't like fill you with depression either, so you're somewhere in the middle. So we've all been there, so share your thoughts and opinions with us because we would love to hear that. But importantly, before we get into that conversation, we need to very quickly take a look at the IPCC report, right? Which basically said that right now it is code red for humanity. All right. Why exactly? So, Hiba, why exactly do you think that we need to start taking this more seriously than ever before?
I think really you would just have to take a look outside the window. I mean, last week Germany was flooded, completely overrun. I think it was Belgium as well. I mean, we're having like pouring rain in the middle of August. It is I mean, forest fires are now coming like popping up everywhere. I
Yeah.
mean, the earth is literally on fire and everyone is like, oh, I read somewhere it's like you don't really take notice of the climate disaster in the little screen on your phone until it's you that's recording.
Yeah.
And I think we've gotten to that point where we're all recording but we're not taking notice of it still.
Honestly, right? And something I feel as well is that it's like we've been told that we are going through a climate crisis so much that we've just automatically made our brains just like switch off the moment someone says the word climate. The moment someone says the word climate, everyone will just be like, oh, you know what, like it'll eventually work out in its own way because it's a planet and it can function on its own and whatnot. But to be quite honest, if we put the planet in the place that it is right now, then I think we all have a direct responsibility in changing those things that we did to make sure that we can save our planet, right?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
yeah, because
Absolutely.
remember
Yeah.
when sorry, remember when Greta Thunberg said, we need to start treating the climate crisis as an actual crisis, and a lot of people were like, oh, what are you talking about? You're just a kid. What would you know about what would you know about the planet and the climate?
Yeah. But like exactly, you're exactly right. It's just that climate change is not a new topic. We've been like, I remember being little in school, and they would be like, this is what global warming is. We've got greenhouse gases that are ruining the ozone, and like the thing is, we're teaching people about the climate crisis, but we're not really actually doing anything about it. Companies will say things like, oh, we changed to, instead of plastic straws, we're now using paper straws.
Like, exactly.
But like, are you actually
Honestly,
doing anything for the climate? I mean, the world, like the planet that we live on, has a virus, and it's us. We've
yeah.
single-handedly ruined
Honestly,
the environment. I mean, I like, okay, personally, I think it's been like, sorry, the climate crisis has been something that's been fueled but in the last 2 centuries,
yeah,
which, and if you think about the millions of years that the planet has been here,
yeah.
imagine like 0.2 seconds and you're already on fire, which is the most like insane thing. Imagine it
Same.
being like, it's like what are we doing?
Honestly, right? And like the fact of the matter is that, okay, so when you mentioned how all these companies just say, oh, you know what, we're going to be sustainable now and just switch to a plastic or a paper straw, a lot of these companies are just greenwashing, right? And what's important is that a lot of these companies can actually afford to make that sustainable change. They can afford to switch to sustainable packaging, right? But the thing is, they just don't want to do it because it's too much of a cost for you. But hey, guess what? It's time for a little bit of a reality check here. You're not going to really have any planet to produce on if you don't change, your policies, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
and if anything, the IPCC report has just told us the different things that we've done to this planet, because we have the permafrost melting, we have sea levels rising, we have global temperature increasing, we have our natural climate allies weakening, and if anything, that should be enough. And I mean, I feel like they don't have to keep giving us more reasons to make the change. They've already given us reasons. We just need to sort of get our act together and make sure that we protect the planet, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, we look at these like companies that are owned by billionaires, and I mean, you're looking at these people like, you have the funds to stop all of this, but you're going to
Yeah.
race to space.
Like,
Like,
right?
what are you looking for up there that that's not already, like, are you looking for another planet to ruin? Like, what is going on? You guys are the ones, like, I think, like, billionaires, I feel like they're the ones who intrinsically, like, you have the funds to solve so many things in this world, and it would be literally like pocket change to them.
Honestly, I agree with you on that, honestly, because I was thinking, so sometime back, before we started co-hosting these shows together, I actually spoke about this topic, and I was thinking, you know what, like, why are you going to space when there are so many things wrong in this world that you can fix with your money? But are you just trying to find another planet to ruin? Is this planet not enough? Haven't you ruined it enough that you need to find a new one to ruin? Because that's a sort of perception and attitude that I've had as well. You have so much of money that will actually help to save the planet, but no, you're out there going and destroying the ozone layer anyway, because it doesn't probably matter to you. And the truth is, if you are rich and you are more privileged, then you probably have a chance of getting out of this planet, in comparison to the rest of us who don't really have a chance of leaving this planet when it gets destroyed and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the climate crisis, I think, is worse on, it's worse on those from poorer communities, those who are facing drought. I mean, I read somewhere that I can't remember where it was from, but I remember seeing an article, and the headline was climate change has contributed in evicting these women, essentially.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. I think I know what you're referring to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's actually really sad. And that's just the truth of these things, right? Because, I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, sure, there are things that we as individuals can do, like changing our lifestyle, trying to be more sustainable, using public transport as much as possible, and things like that. But ultimately, it doesn't matter if it's just us, just the little amount of people who actually care about the planet that are trying to make these changes. Because if multinational corporations, if all of these big companies don't make changes as well, what it means is that this climate crisis is just going to get bad, and we're just going to go beyond the point of no return, right? So now we're actually going to head into a small break, and after that we will be back to keep talking more about this. So until then, make sure you stay tuned. welcome back to the show. It is your girl Sarah and Hiba, and we're here to, talk about universities because that is, the most trending topic right now. Now that everyone got their results, all right. So if you want to get in touch with us and share your thoughts, share your opinions, you can call us on 078 because obviously, we would love to hear what you have to say about this, right? Let us know your thoughts on this. Let us know what you're thinking about this as well. And don't forget to share your opinions with us, all right? And you can also get in touch with us through our social media, where which people will actually tell you how you can get in touch with us.
Guys, you can drop us a line on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can join in live to our show on YouTube, as well as on the Relax Radio app, now available on Google, Android, and the Apple Store.
Yeah, and that means, you can listen in from anywhere in the world. Make sure you're always updated and you know what we are talking about because we literally talk about anything and everything here on Relax Radio, right? We talk about science, sports, technology, health, everything that you need to know to stay informed and updated. So let's actually head into our conversation. Now, one of the biggest problems that a lot of these children with good results had, or one of their main concerns, if I put it that way, was that they actually have to pay the full amount in terms of university, even though it's happening online, right? And a lot of universities out there, like LSE and so many other universities out there, have actually said that they're planning to have their courses online until this whole situation, this COVID situation is sorted and whatnot. So, since you go to university and you have an idea and you've been in that same place before, or you are in that place actually, what do you feel about that decision?
I think it's absolutely unfair. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't like online university. It's not as fun as it was in school. Like, I recently was told that my campus is opening up, and I cried out of sheer joy. Um, but I think it's completely ridiculous that students who have spent already one entire year in online school should have to go back. They are reintroduced into their first year of university through a computer, and it's not fair. They're not using any of the resources such as the libraries. They don't get to go to freshers parties. They don't get to go to the libraries. They don't get to use science. Students don't get to go into labs to do their
Yeah.
practicals, which is completely unfair because what else are they paying for if not to pay if not to play with chemicals? It's like, that's not fair. I mean,
Honestly.
I feel like if you don't want to completely scrap the tuition, give them a discount, like a sneaky 10% off. It's that easy. It's that easy.
Honestly. Yeah. But I completely understand what you're saying as well, right? And like the whole point of going to university, the whole point of paying such a huge amount of money is to get what you call the university experience, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what that's what your life after your school education is about. It's about going to university, meeting all of these people, and actually just getting to where you meet all these people and you have this whole university experience, right? Because that in itself is a whole other experience and it's fun and it's definitely something that everyone should get to experience.
Yeah.
So in instances like that, I mean, I think for the time being, or at least until the situation gets better, even if campuses are open, even if universities are open, it's not like all of these freshers parties and whatnot. I don't think they will happen the same way they used to happen before the pandemic, right? And I think they will still practice some regulations like making sure you wear your mask, or even having even being fully vaccinated, because I saw somewhere that they wanted students to get vaccinated as well. So in instances like that, if you're actually going to school, then it actually makes sense for you to pay all of those 9,000 pounds, right? But if you're not, if you're just staying at home and you're in front of the computer and your university isn't even paying for your computer or your internet connection or whatever it is, then really it makes no sense for all of these for all of these kids to pay such a big amount. right? And something I feel like I need to say and put out here also is the fact that a lot of these people are actually struggling because it's the pandemic, right? So it's
Yeah.
very unfair of them to actually ask for such exorbitant amounts. Like, I understand that universities have costs, they also have certain things that they have to pay for, sure, that's there. But at the same time, since we're in the middle of a pandemic, everyone is struggling. So really, it just doesn't make sense why they have to ask for so much of money, right?
Yeah, especially when you don't get a receipt either. It's so weird. Like, you don't get a receipt, you don't get an invoice. They just take your money and go. I remember people be like, oh, university is such a scam. No, it's not. Like, it's not, but I just don't get a receipt. I mean, it's these people aren't just starting university, they're moving away from home. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like that's something we have to, it's like some students are going away to campuses, London kids are like going to like Birmingham, Leeds, Exeter, they're going out the country. Some are even going as far as Glasgow for university. And what do they have? As if they don't have other people to talk to, they're going to be stuck in their room for an entire school year staring at a screen, and you can't even do the due diligence of like offering them half off or like just scrapping the fee in total, because until I get a receipt, I don't understand why I have to pay such exorbitant amounts.
Honestly, honestly, right? I definitely agree to that as well. Now, with regard to all of this happening, and with regard to so many, so much of charge, or rather, such a huge amount of money being charged from these students. Something that I was reading as well was, they were obviously very, very, or rather, something else that I actually saw yesterday was a lot of universities, especially English medical schools, are actually offering students to differ from their courses and to come join these medical schools, right? And I personally think that, I mean, I'm not too sure why exactly that is, but in my opinion, I just feel like, or what I'm trying to get through that is that it's possibly because of how little doctors are actually there, and how little medical professionals are here in the UK to actually deal with a pandemic that is as big as coronavirus, right? Because already as it is, we're struggling. And if you're going to ask students to differ from their courses and come and join a medical degree, then that's probably because of that as well. What do you think?
I think it's a very tricky subject, because you're not just asking them to like, you're not just saying, oh, here's, we'll give you £10,000 in free accommodation if you refer from your chosen course. But it's like, you have to also focus on the fact that some of these students have never done any medical courses in their life ever. Their A levels were purely, English, drama, history. You've got to be very like hyper focused on what students you actually want. Like, students who did biology, chemistry, at least have one science A level on their belt, instead of just asking like everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah, no, that's
yeah, it's something that is like that whole I think it's something that can be taken advantage of, if I'm being
yeah.
honest.
I definitely agree to that as well, because if we're going to be talking about something like medicine, this is a medical degree after all, and being a doctor, being a nurse, being a healthcare professional is not, it's not a small thing, it's not just like sort of like, oh, you know what, I feel like doing it, like, okay, maybe I'll do it. It's not that kind of thing. Being a part of the NHS, or being a doctor or being a nurse, is in fact a huge responsibility, because you essentially have to take care of people and make sure you take care of their health, right? So I think what you said is very important. If when they're asking students to differ, they need to make sure that they are students who have at least one science subject, so they have at least a fair understanding of how exactly these things work, right? Which I completely understand as well. However, it's actually time for us to head out of here, and it is the end of this conversation, unfortunately. But don't worry, because we will be here tomorrow as well to share a lot of thoughts, to share a lot of ideas, and a lot of other interesting things. So make sure you stay tuned, all right? And we actually hope that you have an absolutely amazing day until we're here again tomorrow at the same time, same place.
Bye everyone. It was lovely talking to you all.
Yeah.